No holding back, no stepping stones, no broken promises, no busy tones. Just what it takes, just make believe. No one belongs to anything. I've seen the lies, I've seen the lies.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Peterson Health Digital Studio at Pine Plow Brewing Company. It is Monday, November 18th. Leslie Jones is here in the house. Look at this, Leslie. We have the lighted Christmas parade.
I know.
I'm sorry, the holiday lighted parade.
It's this Saturday.
It's Saturday, 6 o'clock, and you will be one of our hosts.
I'm looking forward to it.
I got to talk to Libby on the label.
Yeah. As far as I know, Libby's still on.
Yeah. You're going to be the hosts. I'm just going to kind of do my thing.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Today I ran a thing in the newsletter of all the people that are helping us with it, the sponsors of this.
Oh,
this
love
one.
that.
Yeah, it's brought to you by State Farm.
Okay.
Amber Thomason, like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. She's going to help us, do the show, and she's paid for the Starlink. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Let me see here. Who else do I have in this thing? Of course, it's sponsored by the parade covers. Will be sponsored by K-Pub, Peterson Health, and then we have people who are supporting us: the Kerrville Police Officers Association, Jody Tillman, Hill Country Youth Ranch, Gibson Enterprises, SLS Partnership, Tom Fox Law, Texas Hill Country Advisors, Hill Country Bicycle Works, Brenda Tamayo, George and Judy Eichner, Tammy Emerson, Emily Petty, Karen Jones, and Ken Harris are all helping us with the parade coverage.
That's amazing.
Yes. So, all right. So much to do. Leslie, I just got a note, by the way.
What'd you get a note for?
We're apparently violating the law.
Oh.
Yes.
What did we do?
So, apparently, they were playing music at the Chalk Festival a couple years ago. So
you got an old violation.
I got an old violation. 240 countries have banned my video.
Oh, the audio.
The audio.
Yeah.
They muted the audio for 52 seconds. I think it's like some kind of Frankie Valli song.
So it was the band that was playing?
No, they were playing music probably. I don't know if Jam was playing music.
Oh, yeah. Like a live remote. Got it.
Remote, yeah.
Got it.
I keep telling people, I'm like, you need to be careful when you play live music at these events. Because they will get you. They will find you.
Those labels are litigious.
They are litigious. Especially the one, the D word.
They don't want to share.
The D word will sue the hell out of you in a minute. So don't mess with the D word. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
The D word?
What's the D word?
Disney.
Oh, yeah, that D word. Yeah.
They will sue the crap out of you in a hurry.
Yeah, they can afford it.
Yep. Don't forget to go visit our friends over at Quick Lane. They are your. They'll help you out with everything at Kensible Ford.
They will.
They'll take care of you in a lot of ways you don't even think about. They got some good people over there at that place. And also, don't forget to use their mobile service van. Liz, I'm running a sponsorship.
You are? For what?
Well, I've got other people who want to sponsor the show.
We like that.
Pine Plow. Jeremy's brewing beer today.
As he is, always.
Doesn't
stop.
It smells terrific.
Is that what it is when you walked up?
Yeah.
It smells breakfasty.
It's the beer.
Okay.
Beer is food, Leslie.
That explains the biscuitiness of it.
Brought to you by Herring Printing Company. They're celebrating 60 years here in the Texas Hill Country. They've been serving you since 1964. Who else do I have sponsoring this cavalcade of excitement? There's a few others too. Oh, Together with Hill Country Veterans.
That's an important one.
Yes, it is. You can visit them today at twhcv.org. They have an important message to share with you about preventing suicides here in the Texas Hill Country. And it's not just for veterans, too. They're looking to help anybody they can, and I think they play one of the most important roles in our community here. And then also, don't forget to, if you need, this is my dream. I want to embrace the opportunity to excel in imagination and quality. That's what they believe at SLS Partnership, Architects, Interiors, and Planners. It's the Shell Hayes Group here. Thanks to them. And our friend over at, she sells real estate. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Janelle Peralt.
Janelle Peralt at jppropertiestx.com. She can help you find your home. She's got some good ones, too, out there. I got to make an ad for her for one of her properties as well. We got a busy week ahead of us here, and we're gearing up. Believe it or not, we're on the stretch run of November. It's going to be over before you know it. And that means that 12 days of Giftmas is just around the corner, Leslie.
It sure does.
You got a preview on Thursday.
I know, with Kevin.
Did you buy that book?
I need to buy that book.
You need to get it done.
I know. I do. I need to. I had to buy a new catalytic converter first. Those are not cheap.
That is depressing.
I get it today, though.
You get it today. We also, I just published it too. We have 95 events this week.
That sounds about right.
Including the Christmas parade, which begins at 6 o'clock. On Saturday, we have live coverage of that event. I feel pretty good about the chance
I think it's going to be good. I'm excited.
It's supposed to be 75 degrees.
Beautiful.
And sunny.
Perfect. For a lighted parade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'll be darker by then.
Right. And it'll be beautiful that night. It'll be in the 60s.
It's always a good time.
It's not going to be cold necessarily. I mean, that could change, obviously, but I think we'll see.
I think it'll be a lovely evening.
The forecast, this storm we're having today, which is delightful. We'll move out of here, and then we'll get everything sort of cleaned out of here. We needed this kind of soaker today.
I know.
It's been a minute.
It's been nice.
Some rain. A couple of news and notes before we get started with our guests this morning. Andrew and Gilbert will be here later in the show from Texas Hill Country Advisors to talk about the economy. I got some kind of weird economic note that I need to throw at them and see what they think about this. Most importantly, today the Commissioner's Court is currently right now they are canvassing the election. I mean, it's a routine thing, but you never know with those guys what could happen out of that. And then tomorrow they're having a workshop to, God forbid, we have some kind of electrical backup plan here. They want to get rid of battery storage here in Kerr County. I've talked about this a little bit before. A lot of the hysteria attached to this is kind of unfounded. But there are some important questions to ask about this. And, Texas doesn't seem to always regulate things very well. And these guys are like, but you always have that kind of that duality of like, I don't want regulations. And then
until you do.
Until you do. And then also,
isn't that how it goes?
There are some legitimate concerns, like what is the remediation plan, and what is so once it's done, how do they clean it up, and two, what is the plan, to prevent one of the complaints you hear from these guys that live near these plants are that they're very noisy because of the air conditioners that run all the time to keep those batteries cool. But here's the thing, though, right? How many people actually live really close to a like one of those substations? Now, there's some spots here in Kerrville where they do have substations nearby. I think there's one over here.
I was like, don't I live by a substation? And that one's over by the stadium?
Yeah, but you don't hear it though, right?
No.
Yeah. So, but if you live next to it, you probably would hear the hum of electricity. So most of these places are going to be attached to substations, and they're basically up armored. They look basically like they don't look anything worse than these lots that we have here, where they have just like they look like storage facilities, really more than anything. Yeah. They're essentially in these like cargo containers, and that's where they're at. So who left? Who departed?
I think it was Mark.
Mark. Oh, okay. All right. Mark and Laura?
That's what it looked like.
All right.
I could be wrong.
What's going on with you? Anything? What do we have as far as events go?
We had a ton of stuff today. Well, today's just Monday.
Should we get to that later then?
Yeah,
get to our guests?
Today's the light day.
Today's the light day.
Everything's amping up this weekend.
Yeah. A ton of live music.
I know.
What live music did you do on Friday or Saturday?
I came to the new folk competition.
Okay. How was
here
that?
at Pine Plaza. It was delightful.
Yeah. Who was your favorite?
There was some. I think her name was Lila Blue.
Lila Blue.
I enjoyed her the most.
Yeah.
It was they were all
terrific. Yeah.
Amazingly talented. Yeah. But Lila Blue stood out to me.
It was like four women and
two dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One guy's like a spoken word guy.
And that was that guy was there.
He's like a UT math professor.
Yes,
too.
he looks like a UT math professor.
Probably
also.
taught some math classes.
You were like, that guy knows his way around an equation. Yeah.
I went to football on Friday night.
Did you? Yeah, you did.
Went to Ingram, Tom Moore. They lost 56-42 in the first round of the. I don't understand this whole. I don't understand the UIL playoffs at all. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I don't either.
They have this thing called the bi-district round, so you play in like another district, and then you get into the playoffs. I don't understand it. I'm like, why does that need to be a thing? And why do they always play in neutral sites too? So that's a bizarre.
That's a great question.
Why do we?
I've been out of
So we're playing-
UIL sports for a hot minute.
Here's the thing, right? It was San Antonio Cole versus Ingram Tom Moore, right? So they played the game at Edgewood High School, which is like in Southwest.
I wonder how they decide that.
But you're playing in San Antonio. Why not just play the game at Cole? Why do we have to travel all the way over to Edgewood? It just seems very strange that we did that. I will tell you this, though, just as an aside to this, Edgewood High School was fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Big stadium, big school. They have this Vietnam veterans. Well, the stadium is Veterans Stadium.
Yeah.
And they have a Veterans Memorial. And I've been talking about this a lot, the traditions and histories of schools. They had 55 graduates killed in action or missing in action in Vietnam. In just Vietnam. And guess what? Of those 55 men that were killed, 52 of them had Hispanic last names, which sort of like validates the belief that for me that, the draft boards in those days were highly racist. Oh, your name is Zamora. You're going right to the army and right to the trenches.
Front line.
Right to the front line in Vietnam. They had 10 in the class of 67 alone killed in that as well. But if you think about it, 55 killed in Vietnam. I mean, I think Tybee and some of these other schools, these small schools, had a lot killed in World War II, obviously.
Yeah.
But to see that many killed in Vietnam is pretty staggering.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to go there and see that and really put in perspective some of
I think it's amazing they honored them.
I think it is amazing they honored them, and they did it in 1988, and that was like during the height of like when Vietnam was like you could talk about it again thanks to the movie Platoon and things like that, and you could discuss it again. It wasn't sort of verboten,
Yeah.
But anyway, Ingram lost that game to Cole 56-42. It was a heck of a football game. Congratulations to Ingram. They finished 3-8, but they made the playoffs the first time in 8 years.
That's amazing.
Another bit of good news on the sports front: Shriner University women's volleyball team won a set.
Okay.
Against Trinity. See, you know that
Trinity's tough.
Trinity's tough. It was the first time in 6 years they won a set against Trinity.
Wins
and
win.
only the fourth time since 2015 they've won a set against Trinity. They've never beaten Trinity at all, and they had a chance to go 2-0 on them.
Yeah,
and couldn't finish it out.
Maybe next year.
Lost 3-1. So Shriners' volleyball season has ended. The basketball teams were on the road. The men played in California. They played in Southern California. Basically, they drove to California and took a right-hand turn into
Really? Whenever we did that, we flew.
Well, they flew. Yeah, that's an 18-hour drive.
Yeah.
On a bus. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then and then the women played in Kentucky. The men were 1-1 on their trip, and the women were 0-2. They lost 2 games in Kentucky. The men go to Oregon next, or they play in Georgetown this weekend, and then they go to Oregon the week after that, and then they're not back in town until the 18th of December. The women play Wednesday night at Mary Hart here against Mary Hart and Baylor. So.
All right.
The sheriff's officer is some guy who was shooting a rifle around. He was shooting a 30-06.
Shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, that was last week, but they didn't tell us until
you
this
didn't
week.
find out about it until today.
Yeah, so there you go. All right, we have Holly White. Is Gert.
You have quite the lineup of guests.
Oh, wait, let me turn your microphone on. All right, you've got people with you today, don't you? Yeah.
I do. I have three students and important members of our community right here.
Okay, when I call your name, raise your hand. All right, we're taking a roll call right now. All right, here we go. Pat McCormick, raise your hand. Oh, there's Pat. Wait. I'm sorry. Let me go back to the camera again.
Yeah, I was like, you should put the camera on him.
Yeah, that doesn't do much good. That's it.
Yeah. All right, Pat McCormick's here. What do you got, Pat? Raise your hand, Pat. Pat McCormick's over there. Okay, then we have Carla Edwards. Carla right here. And then we have Lisa Lewis Grill.
That would be me.
Lisa Lewis Grill. Is your restaurant open for business?
Ah, yes. Right along with the bar.
All right.
Bar and grill.
I like it. Holly, what do we got going on here? The Texas Hill Country. Is it the Texas Hill Country Atelier?
That's right.
All right. Tell us what's going on.
Well, we're really excited to have our first art sale that we've ever had in our 8 years here in the Hill Country.
Yay.
It's in our new location, which is down the street on Water Street in Earl Garrett. It is Friday, December 6th at 5 p.m. We'll have 120 works of art by 30 different artists, all priced at $50.
Nice.
Oh my God, that's
Wow.
amazing.
And at the same time, we're raising money. We're doing a hard hat campaign to raise money to move into a permanent home for us.
All right.
So come buy some art.
Here's here's
And we need a home.
Yeah.
We need our forever home.
Christmas.
We need our forever home.
Yeah, here's the information on the art scramble. It's December 4th, and it's from 5 to 8. This is your first one. This is going to be a semi-annual event, so this will be exciting. And so each one of these ladies is one of your students. Is that right?
That's right. I'm so lucky to have people like this and building our community together. Something we do together.
So what has she taught you guys? What are you learning about? Let's go with you, Carla, first.
What are we learning about?
Yeah.
What aren't we learning?
Do you have a couple hours?
Oh, sure, absolutely. You talk about art, absolutely.
Well, realism is often misconstrued as, photorealism, but we are classical realists here, and we're learning the classical way of learning art. Okay, so that's a different thing. It emphasizes drawing, and we draw for 2 years and continue throughout our 4-year program. So drawing, I would have to say, was my stumbling block for many years when I would go to all of these dog and pony shows and, do workshops, and it just wasn't getting me anywhere. And then I realized I didn't know how to draw.
You didn't know how to draw, right?
I didn't know how to draw. So Holly teaches drawing in a very systematic way, but very personal way. Everybody learns at their own speed. We're taught never to compare ourselves to our neighbor, which is hard because Lisa's so good.
Oh, thank you. Okay, here's your 20.
Thank you very much. I needed that for lunch.
Okay.
We have 3-hour sessions, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that are compulsory. And then the rest of the time, we are on our own, and Holly drops in for surprise visits to see what we're
nice.
doing on
See that we're baby.
our projects.
And
Right.
to be fair, Carla, nobody knows how to draw because nobody teaches it.
That's right.
And that's what the Atelier movement is about.
Right.
So
Thank
it's
you very
not
much.
you, it's everybody.
That's everybody.
Well, there we go.
Anyone remotely connected to the 70s. Never
that's
learned
the
anything
issue.
in art school.
That's really the issue.
I mean, drawing is
hard.
It's hard, but it's a teachable skill.
Yes, it is a
Absolutely.
teachable skill. And that's what I think. You were saying all of the people you were speaking with were really talented, all of these musicians.
Y'all are very talented.
And talent is often overrated. It's mostly work.
Yeah.
99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. So that's what we are learning, that we may have a passion, and people say, "Oh, you're so talented," and you do something, and it's kind of
Right.
everyone loves it, but you. So that's what we're learning: how to be patient, how to be thoughtful,
Yes.
and how to really see.
You know, Leslie, this is an absolutely true story, though. When I was a kid, there was one book in our household that my father is an exceptional. He can draw very well.
So can mine. Yeah, my dad can too.
And so art was always part of our life growing
Same.
up. And so the most fought over book in my house, at least for my 2 younger brothers, and it was basically like used so heavily that it basically came apart.
Yeah.
So it was basically in pieces. It was the Stan Lee How to Draw
Really?
comics. Right?
Wow.
But remember, Stan Lee also is
He's awesome.
he's a
fabulous.
classic. He would teach you the classic way
Yeah.
of drawing a
Oh,
figure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so both my brothers can draw pretty well.
Yeah.
Me not so much.
My dad was an artist. He also was he was self-taught in a lot of ways, but he always had us practice. And now he shakes, so he can't draw as well. But he would always. So my brother can take what's like in his head and put it on paper.
Yeah.
Stupidly talented, and both of them are also very mechanical minded, so they can weld and do all that stuff too. And then there's me. And then my dad always said, Leslie got the gift of line. And so I always took that to be like, oh, I can't really draw, but I'm really good at drawing lines. So I'm a doodler.
Oh, okay.
but I do it.
If you think about it classically, though,
There's things that he taught me,
Yeah.
and then art was an elective, but I always took an art class in high school. In fact, that was like my little safe haven where I hung out all the time. And so I had really great art teachers growing up that also instilled a lot of things. Yeah. Not as good as y'all, though. I'm not taking a 4-year class a couple of times a week where y'all are making me practice. I just doodle in meetings.
It's a beginning. It's a starting place.
Yeah.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Let's go over to Lisa. What's your art background? What's your art history?
Oh gosh, I'm a late bloomer for the Atelier. I was mostly self-taught. I didn't go to formal art school. I thought I was going to be a fashion designer. I went to FIT in the 70s.
So you learned sketching and
I learned
design.
sketching, watercolor for sketches. I always was painting or drawing as a kid. I had a great art teacher in high school. I couldn't really, I don't know, I didn't see it as anything practical when I got out of high school. I was really I couldn't decide what kind of artist I wanted to be. I loved clothes and loved color. I did a lot of costumes and theater when I was in high school, so I went to FIT. The creative side of it still appeals to me. The business side of it did not appeal to me at all. Once I got there, it was like Dorothy, coming back from Oz. I was like, okay, we're not in Kansas anymore, and decided I didn't want that to be my life.
Right.
So for a number of years, I kind of flailed around. I did freelance illustration. I did a lot of theatrical painting and murals. I lived in Minneapolis at the time, so I'm a new transplant. I moved here a couple of years ago.
Does that mean you're a Prince fan, or did you like Prince growing up?
I did. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a diehard Prince fan. You know what I mean, but you
But you're like, I like the guy.
Do you ever see him like?
Great.
Very talented man.
Do you ever see him at the mall or anything? I mean, no.
Although I did see where
they ran in different circles.
Where he grew up. They did. Yeah, I'm sure I just missed him.
Truly,
like everywhere.
he was walking out of the room as you were walking in. I know.
He never left Minnesota though. He never left Minneapolis. It was weird. Yeah.
No, he didn't. He's a very. Yeah, he had his quirks, obviously.
Right.
I did do some art at Paisley Park once.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was really interesting to get in there and paint. We painted like this big drop for some, a little film they were shooting there.
Okay.
That's very cool.
Very cool.
Really interesting.
Well, welcome to Texas then. So I'm glad you're here.
No, it was not.
You got here just as fast as
I
you
did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, for many reasons. And actually, art brought me here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did you know that Kerrville would be such a supportive art community? I mean, we have great artists here.
I absolutely do. And that's one of the reasons I actually moved here. I used to see things in my art magazines about Texas, about here in Fredericksburg, and I would think, what are these places in Texas? I've never been there. I've never heard. So the woman I was learning from at the time, Cami Mendlick, had a show at what was the Hanna Gallery in Fredericksburg. So we were looking for a warm place to retire because we lived in Minnesota. For obvious reasons, we wanted to.
Yes.
And just
how sick of shoveling snow were you? I mean, God Almighty.
Is there a scale? I don't think there's a scale that would measure that. I mean, it's just like, think of the infinite symbol and like triple it.
Right.
That's sick. Plus, I just was tired of I'm scraping my car.
That's the worst.
It's just
sliding on your car.
Oh God, and the salt on the roads, ruin the finish on your car. And we had lived in a place where it wasn't quite rural, but they'd have to shovel you out of your neighborhood before you could even think of
going anywhere.
Yeah. So if the plow didn't come through there, the highway didn't matter because
That's my take on snow. It's pretty for like a day, and then you want it to go away.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's so pretty.
I'm still not missing it.
Yeah.
So your Christmas light show in 70 degrees sounds awesome to me.
Yeah.
Fake snow is fine with me.
Pat McCormick, what got you into the Atelier, and how long have you been into art?
Well, I have not been into art very long. Drawing, that is. I grew up being dragged to art museums and loving art history. And I had a career in business.
Okay.
And
so you had the peripheral interest in art. You knew the history. You knew you had the appreciation of the museums.
picked up a paintbrush and I started drawing pets,
Yeah.
painting pets, and just being really frustrated with inability to do a good landscape. I
Right.
was really frustrated.
Right.
And well, my business background is we were able to retire
Mhm.
and move to someplace warm like Lisa.
Right.
Love that. And chose this area
Yeah.
because of the art dominance, and have been thrilled about it. A friend of mine took a class from Holly, and I heard about it, and I looked it up, and I just knew immediately that that's what I needed. How to
Right.
draw classical realism. I just knew. Called Holly and said, "Sign me up," and she said, "Are you sure? You know anything about this?" I said, "Absolutely."
Absolutely. Holly, how does someone get started though? How do you get them into the program?
Well, I do interview them by phone at least. We don't right now. We have a waiting list, but we don't have an application process yet. It's not competitive yet. But when we get into our new space, we can allow more students in. I want to circle back to the art scramble because I left something really important
Okay.
out of that description.
Yeah.
Why we're calling it an art scramble?
Yeah. Why are you calling it?
Yeah,
Are
what
there
is
eggs
that?
involved,
What's
or
that
what's going
about?
on?
Well, I don't know if you can tell. There's a rope around our logo.
Yes.
here.
Right. I got you.
Okay. Well,
You're lassoing something.
there's a lassoing something because, and did you see, will you be ready when the bell rings? So the thing is, you walk in, get a drink, get something to eat, look at the
Oh, nice.
Atelier students' work and the space they're in, maybe take a look at our silent auction, and peruse the 120 works of art that will be hanging. But don't choose what you want. You can't until the bell rings.
Until the
Oh,
bell
I-
And when
rings.
the bell rings, you actually pick up
this.
that. They're all 8 inches by 8 inch squares.
Okay.
And they're all $50. So they'll only be labeled with the artist name.
Okay.
And when the bell rings, you better be ready and grab the art you want. And be civil.
So 8 by 8, basically a little
Start
square.
throwing
Yeah,
some
yeah, right,
elbows.
yeah.
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 I love it.
wanted to
I
go
love
with
art
arts.
and violence.
Should be called Art Smackdown.
I'm bringing cash money to it. I'm going to bring some
see how
cash
that
money
goes.
to it. This is great.
That sounds like so much fun.
You know what we need to do though is we need you to come back on. So like, do you have to sign up or pay to get in? What is the how do we get into this event?
Oh, that's a good. Well, okay. As far as the artists who are participating,
Yeah.
that was by invitation only.
Okay.
I invited actually 90 artists who have been involved in our programming, have taken a class, a workshop, come to our life drawing, or in the atelier. 90 people, 90 artists. A little over 30 responded.
Okay.
And so that was by invitation, but to attend, we're open to the public, of
Nice.
course.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
To the public. We
So-
want you. We want you.
Yes.
Once you
That
come
makes
out-
the fighting better.
Right.
We want you.
741 Water Street, Suite 102, and that is that the? Are you upstairs in the? Is that in the new where Clint Orms is at, or where is
Yeah,
that?
we're behind Clint Orms on the riverside.
Riverside. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is your temporary location, or do you hope to make that permanent?
We're in a temporary suite,
Okay.
and we want to move down the hall
Okay.
to our permanent location. We have architectural plans ready to go. We'll be able to look through the window at the new space, and we will be accepting donations to make it possible.
Okay.
We're trying to raise
Yeah, I think
$96,000.
what we
Okay.
need to do is we need to have you guys come back like on the 5th or the 4th with a couple 8x8 so people can see.
You got it.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's a
You got
great
it.
idea.
You got
Yeah,
that.
build the hype up.
Yeah, because this looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm gonna bring $100 with me, and I'm gonna find some stuff.
All right. You
I like
will.
to- I like
You
to
will find
collect.
stuff.
You will.
Yeah.
It's all different.
It's very exciting because we have these 32 artists, and they're asking me, is it atelier-like? And it does not need to be whatever you
Whatever.
think is atelier-like.
Yeah.
So we're
You'll
going to
be
have a
surprised.
wonderful
What do you? Okay, so
arrangement
each one of
art.
you is painting in this group, right? And this is the
Correct.
thing. What Carla? What have you painted?
I'm painting florals, floral studies.
Love that.
Okay.
I love a floral.
Anything particular? Like should be on the? Is it a rose? Is it cactus?
Actually, they're studies that were inspired by Manet.
Okay.
Manet's Last Flowers.
Not Frida though. You're wearing Frida. You're wearing very fashionable Frida.
That's right.
That's right.
You know.
They're
Yeah.
not Frida earrings.
Yeah.
Manet loved flowers, and
Yeah.
the last things he painted before he died were floral bouquets.
Okay.
So these will be bouquets.
Okay.
That's really cool. Mayonnaise not known for its floral, so it's
Yeah.
a
Not,
good
Yeah.
discovery.
And that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a fun
And
fact I never
supposedly
knew.
he even painted in his sick bed with an easel beside him. He'd sit on the edge of the bed and
That's how I'm
paint.
going to go out.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to
go.
see your artwork
No,
on
I'm
your
not going to. I'm
deathbed.
going to be writing an article and going
Right
out.
on the side of your bed.
Yeah.
I got to publish a newsletter. I'm going to. This is my last one.
God, you know.
That's right.
And that's what I'm after.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm painting a variety of things. I had a great photo of a little hummingbird at my feeder.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing.
You're working that one.
I'm doing that. Yeah, lots of light on it.
A hummingbird.
In the morning.
Yeah. Right.
And did you want me to go on?
No. Yeah. Tell me. More.
She can.
Are you doing more than one piece, or are you
Going
doing?
forever. I'm doing 4.
Are you doing 4?
That's amazing.
Each artist is doing 4 pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are all yours going to be floral then, Carl?
I'm doing what's called a lecture series. I've done one that was a open grisaille done in raw umber, and you do all the values with that one color.
Okay.
And then from that, you paint over it, and you get your composition.
Okay.
And then there's another technique for starting an oil painting called a color block. So one of them was started with a color block. And so that's what you'll see is the process.
Okay.
Carla
So-
agreed to paint 2 of them twice because she's
did.
keeping the
Yeah.
underpainting underpainted.
Yeah.
Right.
And then using the underpainting again and then
great,
painting
that's
over
right.
it so that you
I've
can see
done
the
6.
process.
Yeah.
It's really wonderful.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is there's such a variety of different kinds of work and styles of work, but the underpinnings of what we're learning apply to all
Everything.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people think, oh, atelier art, it all looks the same, but Holly,
all.
I mean,
No,
and
no.
some do, but Holly really fosters our individual voice. How to draw. You get the tools. You get a tool. You get a structure set, but it's like building. You get the foundation and the frame.
Yeah.
But then you can add your
aesthetic.
Yeah.
aesthetic to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is what.
Well, I mean,
enjoy.
people will say, like, oh, well, the Impression is designed to break through and do things on their own, but they also could.
Oh, they were classically
they
trained.
were
Yeah,
absolutely,
all
they were
classically
trained.
trained. Yeah.
Absolutely, they were like musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, so many rock stars, studied
Right.
classical music before they did that.
Well,
You
what
got-
I find, I find fascinating, if you look at Frederick Remington's work, right? You think of him as kind of
Right.
that classical
He
trained,
was an impressionist.
artist, but his work became more and more impressionistic as he got older.
Exactly.
I think some of his best work is when he got older. So,
I agree.
which, by the way, I think you can get better as you get older. Some of those things clearly not in
Well,
boxing.
That's right.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's different.
I'm just saying.
We're like fine wine.
That's different.
All right.
Also, pretty sure Mike Tyson was doing that for the money.
Yeah.
And he set up his family for
He
life.
looked
Let
58.
him have it.
He
Let
looked
him have
58.
it.
Let me say that. Okay, so you're doing a study, and then
I'm doing
A
floral
series.
bouquets.
series.
Right.
Okay, and then Lisa, what are you doing?
A hummingbird.
Hummingbird.
I've got a water lily, big close-up water lily. Great photo I took.
Yeah.
I've got a cowgirl from the back. I
Okay.
shot a shot at a rodeo.
Mhm.
And I'm doing some of our tools from the atelier.
Yay.
In one, I did it like the stages of life. We've got the head, with all the planes on it, and a skull, and the little guy, the
Mannequin.
The figure.
mannequin.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
I know. That sounds so cool.
So I just saw it on the shelf, and I thought, oh my God, that's great painting, because it looked like stages of life to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm painting that.
All right, and then Pat,
I'm
what about?
still in the drawing phase.
You're still
I'm
drawing.
Still
So
learning
you got
to
a couple
draw.
weeks.
Still in graphite and charcoal.
Okay.
No, I
get there.
My four panels are very well tutored of seashells.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
They're beautiful.
That sounds
I've seen them. They're
beautiful.
really
very
gorgeous.
close to being three-dimensional. I'll brag. They're pretty good.
Okay.
Good. You should brag.
Absolutely, brag it up. Brag it up.
But they're graphite. They're pencil. But they show all the shadow and the three-dimensionality.
Yeah.
I love them.
This is gonna be
Might buy
exciting.
them.
I'm looking
That
forward to
is
this. The art
exciting.
scramble. That's gonna be a good one to go to. All of you. All right. Here's the last question for all of you. Okay, we're gonna throw out the Louvre. You get to go to one art museum today. Which one do you go to? We're gonna start with Pat. Pat, go. One art museum you get to go to. We're throwing the Louvre out. You can't go to the Louvre.
Okay.
I'm going to the Uffizi.
What is that? Tell me where that's at. I'm not from
Florence.
Florence. Okay.
Florence, the classical Medici founded
Okay.
art.
Okay. Mafia
History.
founded. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Lisa, your turn. What do you?
I'm going to the Sorolla Museum in Spain.
Okay.
I don't know if it's called the Sorolla Museum, but it's got all of his original works, and he is my absolute muse.
Okay.
Sorolla.
We love Sorolla.
Okay. All right. Carly.
Well, we were just talking about this.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the Detroit Museum of Art.
Yes.
Because it has all of the most fabulous Diego Rivera murals that you will ever see in any place, any one place.
And he painted those there, right? On scene.
He
Yeah.
painted them
Right.
in the restaurant, which
Yeah.
was 20 feet high
Yeah.
and 100 feet long.
Wow.
Can you imagine? And
Yeah.
every wall is covered.
Covered.
They are fabulous.
Yes.
Plus, they have a wonderful general art collection,
Yes.
too, and a great restaurant.
They. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm changing my vote.
Well, I mean, people don't realize that Detroit has one of the greatest art museums in the world,
It's
and
fabulous.
you know, and
These came from.
Brenda,
there.
okay,
No.
all right, Holly, you get to go. Where do you get to go?
Well, if I get to go anywhere, I think I'd go to the Hermitage in Russia
my
God.
because I've never been there
Oh,
and I
yeah.
never dreamed of going. But I think that if I could choose anywhere, that's where I would go.
I tell you what, the Russian era is very fascinating. You know, I mean, some of their plein air stuff, some of the landscapes, some of
Fabulous.
their portraiture. I mean, it's very, very impressive.
They
They
never
do
lost
color like nobody else.
Yeah.
And they never lost constructive anatomy, which was part of their training.
Yeah.
We lost. That's a long story, but we lost that
That's for
here
another
in the
time.
French training.
another
Their use
podcast.
of color is the palette is very muted
is.
in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
but fascinating too.
But
You know.
they are expert with it.
Oh yeah.
They also
Yeah.
have a lot of European art
Yeah.
that was swiped.
Yeah, they
love to
stole,
see that.
right? Yeah, right. Good stuff.
Well, that's true.
Leslie, you get to go to an art museum. Which one do you get to go to?
I am going.
All right.
She really sold it for me.
Yeah.
I know. That sounds delightful.
Yeah. I'd go to the Art Institute in Chicago. So that'd be my pick.
That's great.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Just because there's, it's such a good deal. It's like $20.
Yeah.
So
Great pieces.
all
it's
right.
amazing.
All right, so you'll come back on the 5th, or we'll figure that out, 4th or the 5th.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really fun.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
You're
Enjoyed
welcome.
it.
All right, thank you guys for being here. We're going to throw you out now. Goodbye.
Thank you,
Good job.
ladies.
But I
See?
can finish my coffee,
Yes.
right?
Oh, absolutely. Take it with you. Good job.
We're all so shy.
I know. You guys did a great. See, you're worried about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
You
we had to
guys-
really drag it out of you.
Yeah. So hard. Leslie, let's do stuff and things.
Let's do it. We got plenty of those going on.
Andrew and Gilbert, you're up next.
Speaking of art, Art Mart's going on over at the Hill Country Arts Foundation. Go shop it. That's a lot of local
Thank
and
you.
area artists, so you can buy their goodies, and they make great Christmas gifts. So that's going on all this week. You of course have Our Place in Space going on at Riverside Nature Center, free and educational. And tonight, at Shriner University, Riverside Nature Center is partnering with them for Explore the Ologies. So we're talking all kinds of science and ologies. So if you want to come and join us, that'll be 6 to 8 over at Shriner University. You have the South Texas Aesthetic has opened at the Museum of Western Art, their newest exhibit. I've heard it is stunning. Daryl had nothing but lovely things to say about it. And you, of course, have the annual Texas Furniture Maker Show going on at Kerr Arts and Cultural Center. That is free to go see. Go see it. That is also a stunning exhibit. As we get into the rest of your week, you also have tomorrow at Riverside Nature Center. It's their Ned Talk, and it is Who Am I? A game of rosettes. So many native plants germinate and survive the winter as a rosette to get ahead of the start of the spring growth. So we're going to learn more about and how to distinguish those. So that's pretty cool. As we get into the rest of it, you have the Friends of the Library book sale going on at the library on Wednesday from 1 to 3. You've also got Sprouts going on at Riverside Nature Center. It's a free reading program for your pre-K and under kiddos, so get them signed up for that. It's a lot of fun. Thursday evening at Arcadia Live, it's Thirsty Thursday Trivia over that way, 6:30 to 9:30. You better have already gotten a table because that goes fast if you want to get your team of 6 in on that. You've also got an open mic with Johnny Adair at Howdy's on Thursday evening. And then back at Riverside Nature Center, Catherine Dover's teaching a little painting class. So you can come and join us if you like, $25. It's a great fundraiser for
Nice.
Riverside Nature Center. That's what I'll be doing Thursday. On Friday, you, of course, have one-on-one with the naturalist at Riverside from 10 to 12, so you can come ask any of those questions you have. You have a star party going on at Shriner University Friday evening at 6:30. A ton of live music happening. Tim and Gary...
It should be a good night for it, too, by the way.
I know. The weather sounds amazing. Tim and Gary will be playing over at Cafe at the Ridge. You have Mark Squared playing at the Wyo Ranch Hotel and Conference Center. Karaoke night at End of the Hills. And then over at Tail Chasers, Shay Gott will be playing. We were kicking off our holiday theater programs because over at the Hill Country Arts Foundation and the Black Box Theater, A Christmas Carol kicks off. This is adapted by Sarah DeRusso, so the story changes a little bit each year, but it's still a Christmas Carol base. So you're going to want to get tickets for that. 7:30 showings on Friday and Saturday. Light the Island will take place Saturday evening because so will the holiday lighted parade and a tree lighting ceremony at the courthouse. So that's all what we have to look forward to on Saturday.
When are they going to light the island? Is that before the parade or after the parade?
We'll have to ask someone from Parks and Rec.
They don't know. I don't know.
We'll find out. You, of course, have the Trailhead, the Turner House 5K. You can get signed up for that. Race starts at 8 a.m. on Saturday. You've also got... Let's see, the Farmers Markets. Hillside Harvest Market is 10 to 3, and that's at Carlson Law Firm at 5 Points. And then, of course, Heart of the Hills Farmers Market right in downtown Kerrville, 841 Water, 10 to 2. You can get all kinds of great goodies for your weekend. You're going to have a Saturday jam session going on Saturday as well. You'll have movies on the lawn over at Cafe at the Ridge. It looks like they're showing Elf.
That's solid.
That holiday classic.
Yeah.
Of course, the lighted holiday parade will kick off at 6 p.m. I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You have Lee Winwright playing at Trailhead Beer Garden on a Saturday from 6 to 8. The Brothers Wayfair will be playing here at Pine Plow. Colton French will also be playing over at Cafe at the Ridge. And there's just a ton of live music happening on Saturday. On Sunday, you can enjoy Dancing with the Heartbreak Outlaws from 5 to 8. And then we will roll into... I think there's a Sunday matinee for the Christmas Carol over at the Hill Country Arts Foundation. So a lot of good stuff happening.
The city of Kerrville is looking for people to write a poem for Christmas in Kerrville.
Yeah, they do that annually.
Are
you going to write one?
I'm going to make some submissions.
I cannot wait.
It will be rejected, but I'm going to...
I hope you read them on the show. I
will do my best. Poems that do not meet such criteria will be disqualified.
What are the criteria?
Searching for a poem that best captures the meaning of a Christmas in Kerrville. It's time to let your creativity flow and describe all the beauty, warmth, and charm our wonderful city has to offer, what that means to you. Each poem submitted must include a signed waiver allowing the city to publish your poem. Poems submitted should be tasteful, positive, and must capture the meaning of Christmas in our beautiful city of Kerrville. Poems that do not meet such criteria will be disqualified. Dang it. I can't be smart.
Well, you can. You just won't be able to, you just won't win. You want to have your own Christmas poem contest?
Kerrville.
I know, I'm already thinking about
where Brent Bates got his lawsuit tossed. Santa was happy. The elves were fraught. I don't know, something along those lines.
You're off to a good start.
I'm gonna make it work. Okay.
So specific. I was thinking more like Hill Country. You make a joke about deer getting in the way.
The deer, yeah.
Christmas lights. I was thinking about your lighted Christmas light map.
Yeah. The Santa couldn't land because he was worried about chronic wasting disease.
Yeah, CWD.
That's terrible.
When are you going to start your holiday lighted tour?
December 1st.
Okay.
Yeah. That's coming up too. That's brought to you by K-Pub, and we have contests. In fact, actually, Vicina's already grabbed
you don't have sponsors?
Best nativity scene.
Nice.
So, I'm going to do an article this year because it's going to be a competition this year between Troy Arrington, who was last year's winner, and the 2022 champion, Darren Smith, who is determined to possibly regain his title.
Okay.
So,
I like how you're pitting them against each other.
I know. They're great guys, too.
We just learned over the weekend that it can garner a lot of attention, right?
Yeah, I mean,
put them against each other.
Yeah, Arrington. Arrington
Who's your money on?
Oh, Arrington's by far is the craziest house.
Okay.
I mean, he has so much stuff. I would say that what is it? Darren Smith, who's on River Hills Boulevard. He's very good too.
Is that the one that had the bear thing out by that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was one actually.
What happens if you get a dark horse? Or
Well,
something
there
you didn't see
was a
coming?
couple of dark horse ones too last year.
Okay.
There was Lawson Street,
Okay.
which had a really good looking one too. I thought it was really, for the fact it was kind of in a weird spot. You didn't. Sometimes I have to go search for it.
Unassuming.
It's unassuming. Last year I
like a
had people.
treasure hunt.
yeah.
Last year I had people to submit to me to come to it, and it's always funny. Like every year you do this, and you're like, people are like
Yelling at you.
yelling at you, come back, I didn't get it done. I'm like, I don't have time to come back, you know.
Yeah. Sorry.
Or I'm so disorganized. I had people submit things to me
Did you hear
last
that?
year.
Okay, so people,
Yeah.
put your lights up now.
Yeah. Get your lights up now. There's a few that already have them.
Yeah.
I was
know.
gonna say, I think
They're starting to come
this
up.
upcoming weekend is
Yeah.
our day.
Yeah.
Christmas tree
Somebody
comes out
smells
of
good all of a sudden.
hibernation.
What? It smells like breakfast all of a sudden.
I'm
was-
telling you. It's,
I was
I don't
walking
know
up
if
and it
it's-
was bacon. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
it's bacon and it smells
beer.
biscuity.
It's the beer. Is the beer? You can really
What
smell.
is he putting in there?
I don't know.
Bacon?
Bacon beer.
You should go
Actually
drag him in
kinda
here and tell him.
sounds-
You know what? Go get Jeremy real quick and tell him that we need an explanation what kind of beer he's making
Okay,
this
I'll
morning.
go see what I can do.
But let me see. Andrew Gay's here. Where's Gilbert?
Actually, we're rocking and rolling this morning, so he's at a joint meeting right now with
He's
a
a-
client
a
and a
client?
CPA.
Oh wow.
CPA.
Okay.
So
Good.
Very
So
important.
It's very
So
important.
You
to
only
me.
got me today.
I got an email from
happening?
somebody who wants to get rid of the Fed.
You just jump right in.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I could pull that in many directions. It depends on. Everybody's got kind of different perspectives about that. It depends on their influences, where they're coming from, why they think that. But you can pull some interesting theories out of some of that,
Someone
and
says-
all of them are like good discussions.
Yeah.
You know, some of the, you were asking me about economists that I followed last week, and one of my favorite that I follow has a good piece on what happened after 08, and how things, like how the Fed changed and our monetary policy and the whole system changed, and how that differs now from what it used to be like when we think of Volcker, right? When he supposedly jacked up interest rates, right? And cooled off inflation in the late 70s, 80s, right? And so that's looked at historically in financial markets as a case study around the Fed, but it's very different now. It's the whole system's different. It operates on an abundant reserve, what they call an abundant reserve system now, versus a scarce reserve system is how it used to be. And it now, because of that, you basically decoupled the interest rates from the money supply.
Right.
And so there's some pretty in the weeds economic stuff there. But yeah, so what you got on? Did they elaborate on why? Surely they said
they're
something.
saying it's a Republican Party platform, and I don't see that because I don't know what platform they're talking about, because there's the Trump platform. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at this and see. Oh, there's more stuff here. Let me see here. Have you looked at the Make America Great platform, by the way? Have you? Let me see. Federal Reserve.
No, I don't like. Probably not to whatever extent you're talking about. Like I've done some dabbling, but.
Republicans will immediately stabilize the economy by slashing wasteful government spending and promoting economic growth. Okay. Cut costly burdens and regulations.
I'm always interested too in like where people's perspective are coming from. Like, so like what life has that person lived to like, draw up that kind of perspective. I'll tell you something I learned by way of being in the financial industry for so long as in banking and then, you know, in the investment world. And there is a stark difference between what is being talked about in social circles for the most part, politically and even economically, and then in circles that I am part of that have like actual economists that are employed economists running around in there and doing speeches and talking about, and there's a big difference between the way that they talk about data and the state of the economy and then like what I hear outside of that.
Yeah. This guy, he asked people to why won't you get rid of the Fed? And I don't know, he's publishing these comments. He's got Kent McKinney, he's got Helen Hurd. Helen Hurd's the president or the chairperson of the Republican Party here in Kerrville, in Kerr County. But I don't see that that there's a platform for it. So,
the biggest thing to me would be if you have if that's like what you're going for, then I would want to know, like explain the difference between the scarce reserve system that we used to have and the abundant reserve system that we have now. That would be probably the biggest part of that argument.
Will that be to go back to the gold but
standard? No, not necessarily. That it's without getting into it. It just back when Volcker was Fed chair, okay, he actually didn't control interest rates. He controlled something called reserve requirement. And there's a lot of writing, even in, and this is what I'm talking about, these circles of like economists, because you can even go down the rabbit hole on the internet. Most publications will not talk about that specifically because most of the people writing it don't understand it.
Yeah.
So he didn't control interest rates. Volcker controlled the reserve requirement, and by messing with the reserve requirement, he let interest rates go where they may. So when you flip that switch off, that's more of like a free market system, right? The interest rates just go wherever they went. So he adjusted the reserve requirement and to cool off that inflation, right, in the late 70s and the early 80s, and interest rates went to like 18% overnight because he just let them go where they will. So he didn't actually control interest rates. But like I said, that's like stuff I've learned to talking to actual economists that are employed by firms as an economist, not like what I hear off the internet or even what I read off the internet. Because like I said, you can go research for days on the internet and most publications won't talk about that in depth because there's not a general understanding that's out in the public forum about it. But there is a big difference between the way things used to be with the Fed and the way things are now. But no, not too much with the gold standard, just more about the money. It's more about the reserve requirements and that relationship to the money supply.
Yeah.
Because we've had a 40% increase in our monetary base since COVID, right? And some of that has come down. The M2 measure of money supply has come down some. That's the most general one. That's like cash, CDs, short-term cash-like instruments, right? That's what's out there in the economy right now. And that's actually constricted or has come down some in the last like 12-month period or so. So
yeah, Tom Massey, who's a lunatic from Kentucky, who's aligned with Chip Roy, did have a bill in 2024 to get rid of the Fed that was sponsored by Andy Biggs, who's a lunatic from Arizona, Lauren Boebert, who's from Colorado, Matt Gaetz, Paul Gosser. So I mean, it's the usual suspects. Who are one? It's the Freedom Caucus. It's the extremes of the Freedom Caucus that want to get rid of the Fed. Mike Lee introduced it in the chamber and the Senate in June to get rid of the Federal Reserve. So
I think some of that's just you're just kind of firing shots, and going back to what we talked about last week, where it's like you throw out crazy stuff. Like if you think you want to land somewhere in the middle, and you think that's where the compromise is probably going to land, then let's start over here so we get more of a chance of landing where we actually want to. So some of that stuff I think is kind of noise, but. It's been interesting. Last week, the stock market kind of stalled out on its post-election rally.
Yeah.
And yields ripped higher last week. So the 10-year benchmark U.S. Treasury's been up. That affects all those lending rates out there that we talk about so much, like mortgage rates, credit cards, all that kind of stuff. And it would, under most normal circumstances, affect the stock market. Even though the post-election rally in the stock markets have kind of cooled off some, the higher yields has not really affected the stock market the way that we kind of would have expected it to, and that's kind of going back to that same thing where I've mentioned before, the stock markets like kind of saying one story and the bond market's telling another. But we've had 2 firm inflation readings in a row, so none of this has really affected this post-election rally yet. But last week was the first losing week that we've had since then, so we'll kind of see what happens this week, and we have a few economic data releases that are going to play into that narrative this week too.
Mm-hmm.
We have activity from the services sector, the manufacturing sector, and then a consumer sentiment survey from the University of Michigan that comes out all on Friday. And then that's going to take us into next week, which is that's Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday, we get the second measure of inflation that we get. That's the Fed's preferred metric of inflation. And since we've had two hot or firm inflation readings in a row, that one's going to be, all eyes are going to be on that. The markets are definitely going to want to see how that comes out. That's the day before Thanksgiving. So we have a shortened week, and then that's going to bring us into December. And then December 18th, the Fed meets again. Right now, it's like a 60% chance that investors have pegged that the Fed's going to cut again in December. So in other words, it's kind of iffy on whether or not we're going to see another rate cut before the end of the year.
Today's headlines are just crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean,
like what?
That's why I'm here. I'm here to help sort it out for you, make it make
Okay.
sense.
What are they, Lewis?
Here's one that'll affect you immediately.
Great.
If you bought organic baby carrots, get rid of them.
Thank God I didn't do that.
There's an E. coli outbreak from my friends at Grimway Farms in Bakersfield, California. I told
Great
you
way to lose weight.
baby carrot. I can't eat them.
You can't. Oh, that's right, because you grew up.
Well, I lived near them for a while, and they smell terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my! Because you know when you grow something in dirt like that, you got to wash it off, right? And all that dirt and all that it makes this like byproduct that just smells. You know how mud can smell bad?
Sure.
It's very organic.
Yeah, it just is gross, and all the shavings and all like that. So it doesn't surprise me that they've got.
It's kind of like compost.
Yeah, they don't have that. Yeah, it's not surprising.
So
So that's
baby carrots, not like glazed.
Regular carrot.
organic. Here it is. Here's from the FDA, which they're gonna get rid of, I guess. Do not eat or serve multiple brands of recalled bagged organic whole and baby carrots supplied by Grimway Farms. The FDA's investigation is ongoing. Grimway is like the largest carrot producer in the
baby carrots.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Texas is on the list. So 1 to 2 people have been sickened by this already here in Texas. 1 death, 39 illnesses, states with cases. So Texas is one of them. Let me see which
What
one.
was the bacteria?
E. coli.
Yeah.
E. coli. Okay.
Full Circle, which I think is what they sell at HEB, is one of the brands.
I just bought baby carrots we
Yeah.
give them to our dogs. But occasionally I'll eat one.
That'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play the odds.
Yeah, play the odds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
It's been a week.
It's just
so
the
I think-
organic. It's just
You'll
the
be fine.
organic ones. So I guess that's organic because they just basically
organic E. coli.
organic E. coli. So I don't know that HEB is on this
That's
list
a little
here.
too organic.
But yeah, be careful with that. And most of your baby carrots come from either California or Georgia, I think is the other state where they grow them. That's where they have the right growing seasons for baby carrots. The other crazy headlines: Spirit Airlines bankrupt.
Yep.
Chapter 11, which is
Dun,
restructuring.
dun. Trump says he might relax self-driving rules, and that could be a boost for Elon Musk, who
And
wants
Tesla
to do
stock was
Tesla
up this
stock
morning.
7%.
Yeah.
Tesla's worth like $1 trillion, which is incredible. And that Toyota, which is the world's largest automaker now and the most successful automaker in the world, is worth like a quarter of that. You know, isn't that? I mean, that's nuts to me.
It does sound a little frothy, right? Like
Yeah,
you're like,
right.
Because a lot of that, pop is on expectations of future, potential, or future earnings potential. So,
right.
What I heard this morning that, what firm was it? The Morgan Stanley thematic equity strategist, I think, said this, but I don't even know if it was their own work, but they said something like they were expecting 1.6 trillion, or it was over $1 trillion for firms to invest over the next 5-year period into infrastructure around AI.
Oh, really? Wow.
And that's a huge number for a 5-year period.
The crazy thing about AI is that no one's really mentioned this too much. Well, I shouldn't say no one's mentioned it. I'm hearing it more and more, is that it requires a huge amount of electricity.
Yeah, I know. You're talking about the battery storage with running AC. So does AI centers.
Which is why they're looking into buying places to start up
power
these
plants.
small, so they can power their own electrical needs. Yes, it's for the greater good, but they have because they have the money to privately fund that. It's the same concept of like SpaceX versus NASA. How did SpaceX go from zero to putting a rocket, right? And it's like it took NASA 100 years to do that, and SpaceX did it in not 5, but a way shorter time frame. Is because it's privately funded, so they don't have restrictions and mandates and stuff on their funds. They can just do whatever they want, right? So it's a quicker process. So those companies, we might all benefit from it, but make no mistake about it, they are going to have this increasing electricity need, and they're doing that for, in part, a selfless purpose, so they can generate their own needs for AI.
By the way, coming up, we're like a week out, 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks out from Black Friday. Walmart already has its deals out, by the way.
I clicked on an Amazon app this weekend, and it gave me a big thing. Black Friday.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you can get a 65-inch TV for $228.
I saw a thing the other day that said, "Listen, we all have TVs now. Can you just lower the price of groceries? For Black Friday."
Yeah, right. I mean, there's some great deals. I mean, if you need a Michael Kors jacket from Walmart, so there you go. Yeah, the headlines this morning are just kind of crazy, alarming in some ways. Here's a couple of headlines for you. The Nazis marched in Ohio.
I saw that.
What?
Yeah, they were in this whole section of Columbus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it was a big group of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get those.
2 killed, 10 injured in shootings along a New Orleans parade. I'm still struggling with the idea that Matt Gaetz is gonna get the job as AG. It just amazes me. The U.S. is going to allow Ukraine to use these long-range missiles to hit into Russia.
I saw that one, and I also saw the one about North Korea supporting Russia. Did you see that?
And there's already been a fight between the Koreans and North Koreans and the Ukrainians. A new wave of offensive texts now targeting Hispanic and LGBTQ people. That's out there.
That one about the North Korea and authorizing Ukraine to use long-range missiles, that's kind of. That's the headline I picked up on this weekend. I was like, I don't like seeing that kind of stuff, because that's just an escalation in tensions and fuel for the bad recipe that's already in the mix over there already.
Elon Musk and one of Trump's advisors are apparently fighting over his influence. I think Musk will win a lot of those because he's given $200 million to their campaign, and that matters, I think, to Trump. So we'll see how that goes. There's a lot of stuff there about will Republicans reject Matt Gaetz? Will they keep him around? Oh my gosh, there's so much news. And then the Trump immigration crackdown is expected to start on day one. He's apparently going to declare a national emergency on day one of his presidency and begin deporting people. Trump confirms plans to use military for mass deportations. Trump declares true reports for national emergency military assets to achieve mass deportation plan. So
we'll see. It's just words right now.
I
not saying it can't happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see. But what does that look like?
I don't know. I don't know that they know.
I don't think they know. I don't think they have a plan for it.
It's not like we're dealing with someone that we know says a bunch of stuff and doesn't necessarily have any water.
How do you do it? How do you do it without knocking on doors? Let me see your papers.
Do you know how expensive that's going to be to try to deploy that kind of plan?
Yeah.
It's going to have to be funded.
What if you're Hispanic and you don't have papers? Like you don't have your birth certificate or your driver's license on you. What happens?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Anything else going on?
No, I think, I mentioned the things that financial markets are paying attention to and what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. We'll get weekly jobless claims numbers this Thursday. Mm-hmm. And we get all that plethora of seemingly more important or more sensitive economic data with the sentiment survey this Friday.
Right.
And then inflation next week.
I wonder how Tony Fontaine Jenner is going to survive being not deported. How would she get? I mean, she might get deported.
Where would she go?
I don't know where they send her. Belgium?
No, that's the right kind of grin.
Venezuela. Oh my gosh. All right. Leslie, what'd you learn today?
Well, I learned this weekend I can easily get your minivan to go over 100 miles per hour.
Thank you. That's good.
Whoa.
Ooh, nice.
And
Well
I
done.
could have gone faster, but I got scared.
Luxurious driving.
Started shaking a little bit.
No,
Like,
it was mostly because we were in a kind of like a little bit of a turn, and then I was like, I don't need to get pulled over in someone else's minivan.
Yeah, no. Right.
Drifting in the mini.
You know what I learned today? Gilbert is making deals, huh?
Yeah, man. It's really common for us to work with other like clients, CPAs, and attorneys.
Yeah,
Sometimes the meeting is it's them, the client, us, the attorney, and the CPA. Just because there's a lot of it's like the Venn diagram. There's a lot of cross pollination.
Do you have a float in the Christmas parade this year?
No, but I'm a judge.
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh, you ain't told me that, right?
Yeah.
Who's judging with you? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
There's
Going
two
in blind.
others. That'll be fun.
It's a blind
There'll
date.
be two others
It's a
with them.
blind date. You know who?
Oh, you know what else I learned?
We
can get art for $50, and you just got to throw some elbows for it on December 6th.
Yeah.
The art scramble that the LTR is doing.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't hear the details about that, but that was
$50.
5 to 8.
An 8 by
you
8.
get an 8 by 8. There's 120 pieces of art, but you don't get to pick until they like sound an air horn.
Yeah.
And then it's all balls to
they're
the
gonna
wall.
ring a bell. Ring a bell.
I think an air horn would be better.
That sounds like what we
I'm
used to
surprised
do for
that
Beanie Babies
I'm
at Hallmark
surprised,
back
by
in the
the way,
day.
that I didn't see a bingo on Thursday night.
You know, I wasn't up on my Kerrville happenings, and like I didn't actually.
Leslie
know
dominated the event.
It looked like it was
didn't.
fun.
I
saw a
didn't win
bunch of
anything.
pictures.
I had so much fun though.
Did you?
I
You
didn't
were
win
with Julie,
anything.
right? You were
Yeah,
Julie
I went with Julie and John and Joe 3.
Yeah, Joe 3. I saw him.
Yeah, we had a good time. It's the thrill of almost winning because you're gambling, but you have
You're
to pay
in the
attention.
space, right?
You have to
You're in the
hit.
space.
Yeah, I had a good time. They did a great job. I'm excited for January.
I'm excited that they did that. It was, I think, a good event. So
Looked like a crazy good turnout.
It was a good turnout.
So maybe I go to the next one.
tomorrow on the show, Janelle Peralt, Julie Davis, and probably not.
Licensed
It's,
barbecue judge Julie Davis.
Ah.
We have leadership. tomorrow.
Leadership, yeah,
And
that's
it's,
right.
Oh,
and
she's
I think
blowing
it's
you
her
up.
day, I think.
Oh man, I have to give a talk
nonprofit.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I gotta give a big fix talk tomorrow.
And
thought you were
then,
talking about
Great
us.
reminder.
and then we'll have Janelle Peralt, and we'll have Doug.
Yay, Doug.
And then Wednesday, we got a whole. Isaac's going to be here on Wednesday.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about his
Dingler.
dirt bike race.
Yeah, his little mini bike race. Yeah. We got other people coming on Wednesday. I think Alan Peterson will be here Wednesday.
Nice.
And
Cyclist, right?
Yeah, cyclist. I think he also does like recovery. For
yes.
folks. Yeah. So, all right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys again tomorrow here on the Lead Live. Thanks a lot for joining us
Read
here.
my disclosure.
Oh,
Don't
spit it out.
All right. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Next Financial Group, member FINRA, SIPC. Texas Hill Country Advisors is not an affiliate of Next. This material is not intended as an offer or solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security or other financial instrument. Past performance does not guarantee future performance. All the views expressed are those of Andrew Gay and Gilbert Paiz and Texas Hill Country Advisors and not those of Next. The S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index composed of common stocks of 500 leading companies and leading industries of the U.S. economy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is a price weighted index of 30 actively traded blue chip stocks.